My name is Ricardo, and I'm a valet at a hotel that sits on the edge of a practically forgotten road. It's not the kind of place you'll find on tourist maps, so it's common to see the town empty and silent, especially at night. I've worked at this hotel for a few years and have seen it all. Irritated guests, drunk people trying to drive, lost tourists, but nothing compares to what happened that night. It was a quiet shift, or at least it seemed so. A fine rain was wetting the parking lot, and the hotel lights reflected in the puddles like inverted lanterns. I was organizing the cars, making sure each vehicle was parked correctly, when I received a call from the front desk. A guest needed to be taken to the airport. I looked at the clock. It was almost 2 in the morning. I knew the road was deserted, but I didn't think twice. It was my job, and I had to do it. I grabbed the guest's car key, an old sedan, and began maneuvering through the parking lot aisles. Every step I took echoed on the wet ground, and the wind blew, carrying the smell of wet earth mixed with something indefinable, almost metallic. A shiver ran through my body, but I tried to ignore it. Sometimes, these deserted roads have a strange effect on the mind of someone alone at night. As I drove through the parking lot toward the hotel exit, I looked to the sides. The trees surrounding the area seemed to lean over the road, as if they wanted to swallow any vehicle daring enough to cross at that hour. A branch fell near the car with a sharp crack, and my heart jumped in my chest. I took a deep breath and gripped the steering wheel tightly. "Calm down, Ricardo," I murmured to myself. "It's just a deserted road, nothing more." I reached the main road, and the town behind me was completely dark. There were no lights beyond my car. The moon was hidden behind heavy clouds, and the headlights illuminated only a few meters ahead. Every shadow seemed to move. Every gust of wind made my body tremble. Driving at night had always been easy for me, but there was something about this road that made me uneasy. As I went forward, I tried to focus on the radio, but the station I was tuned into was full of static. The music started to falter, as if something was interfering with the frequency. I closed my eyes for a moment, thinking of the hotel and its almost mechanical routine, and that calmed me for a few seconds. But then I noticed a quick movement among the trees at the edge of the road. A shadow, an animal, I couldn't tell, but my body froze. I pressed on, trying to ignore the feeling of being watched. Every kilometer seemed longer than the last. The deserted road stretched ahead like a tunnel with no end. The wind hit the car, and the headlights cast shadows that seemed to dance among the trees. I thought of everything I'd ever heard about these areas. Stories of haunted roads, strange accidents, disappearances. I always thought they were just legends. Until that night, then I noticed something even stranger. A strong, indefinable smell filled the car, something animalistic, but different, more intense and primal. My heart raced. I glanced in the rearview mirror, and for a few seconds, I thought I saw something moving quickly, but when I tried to focus, it disappeared. A chill ran down my spine. I was alone, in the middle of nowhere, and a sense of danger began to take over me. I continued driving, trying to rationalize. Maybe it's just the light playing tricks on my mind, I thought. But every curve in the road seemed narrower, every shadow deeper. The silence was overwhelming. The sound of the car's engine seemed to echo through the whole area. Then I began to hear something that shouldn't exist. A faint crack, a scraping among the trees, rhythmic, persistent. My whole body went on high alert. I took a deep breath, but fear was already settling in. And then, for the first time, I heard the howl, a long, deep, guttural sound. Unlike any wolf I had ever known, there was something human in that howl, something desperate and wild. My heart pounded, and my eyes widened. I had never felt such fear. The car passed slowly by the spot where I had heard the howl, and something made me look toward the edge of the road. Among the trees, in almost complete darkness, I saw a silhouette. I couldn't make out the details yet, but the form was strangely upright, far too large for any normal animal. My body trembled and I could barely control the steering wheel. The first appearance of what I would soon realize was a werewolf was about to happen, but up to that moment all I had were omens. The deserted road, the wind, carrying strange sounds, the unknown smell, and that howl still echoing in my head. And there I was, alone, maneuvering a car in the darkness, realizing that this night would be different from all the others. Whatever was lurking in the shadows, watching, was not something I could simply ignore. My instinct screamed, "Ricardo, you are not alone." And in that instant, my world, which until then had been made of hotels, maneuvers, and routines, began to crumble before the unknown. I kept driving, each curve of the road making me more nervous. My entire body was on high alert, and every sound of the night seemed exaggerated. A branch snapping, a leaf falling, the wind passing through the trees. Everything felt like a warning of something bad. I tried to convince myself that they were just reflections, just the loneliness of the road playing tricks on my mind, but something inside me knew it wasn't that. My hands were cold and sweaty on the steering wheel. I looked in the rearview mirror once more, and I swear I saw something moving among the trees. It wasn't human, not completely animal. It looked out of place, like it had come straight out of a nightmare. The car moved slowly, but my mind couldn't keep up. Every meter felt eternal. The howl came again, this time closer. It made my chest ache, as if each note reverberated inside me. I couldn't pinpoint the exact direction, but it seemed to come from the edge of the road, around a curve I hadn't reached yet. Adrenaline made me accelerate without thinking, but my right hand shook so much I almost lost control. Suddenly, a shadow loomed ahead of the car. For a moment, I thought it was just another fallen trunk or a crooked tree. But then the shape moved, and my heart nearly stopped. It was enormous, with dark fur and a strangely upright posture, almost human. My eyes widened, and my breath caught. I wanted to scream, but my throat felt too dry. The car braked on its own for a moment, and I barely managed to control the steering wheel. The creature stood still for a few seconds, staring at me. Its eyes glowed an intense yellow that seemed to pierce through the darkness. I had never seen anything like it. My body wanted to run, but my legs refused to obey. I felt that if I made any sudden movement, it would attack immediately. It began to approach slowly, each step reverberating on the asphalt, as if the road itself shook under its weight. My instinct screamed to flee, but I was trapped between fear and despair. I looked to the side and saw the road stretching out, empty, endless. There was nowhere to run. All I could do was keep driving, keeping my eyes fixed on the thing that was stalking me with almost supernatural calm. As I moved forward, slowly trying not to provoke the creature, my brain started registering details I hadn't noticed before. Huge claws, teeth glinting in the headlights, bristling fur, and a tense posture as if ready to strike at any moment. A low, guttural growl escaped its throat, making my body tremble involuntarily. I knew, beyond any doubt, that this was no ordinary animal. The feeling of being watched intensified with every second. Everything around me seemed to come alive, as if the forests were conspiring against me. I could hear my own heart, feeling every strong beat, every uneven breath. I was completely alone, and the deserted road that had seemed ordinary until then was now a place where death seemed to lurk in every shadow. Then the closest howl cut through the night, so intense it made my car shake. The creature leapt forward with astonishing speed, crossing the road and stopping just a few meters from me. I could see clearly now. Yellow eyes fixed on me, teeth glinting, claws ready. My mind spun, and my body froze. The fear was absolute. I knew I had to think fast. I grabbed the heavy keychain in my pocket, my only makeshift defense, and braced myself for anything. My instinct screamed that this creature was far more than I could face alone. But something inside me also told me that, if I didn't act, I wouldn't leave this road alive. And in that instant, standing in the middle of the deserted road, with the creature only a few meters in front of me, I realized that this night would be the longest of my life. True terror had finally revealed itself. I was no longer just driving alone. I was being hunted. My heart was racing like never before. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I was trapped in the car, trying to maintain control while the creature advanced down the road. The sight of those yellow eyes, fixed on me, paralyzed me. I knew that any misstep could mean the end. The first reaction was to accelerate. The car roared, trying to escape the predator, but the werewolf was too fast. It moved with almost supernatural speed, sliding over the asphalt as if there were no resistance. Every time I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw its massive form closing the distance, like a shadow on fire behind me. Fear took over. I began to scream, alone, in desperation, asking for any kind of help that would never come. The sound of the engine mixed with the creature's howls, creating a symphony of terror that seemed to echo along the entire road. Every turn became a labyrinth, every tree a living threat. I knew I couldn't keep driving for much longer. I had to think fast. I remembered the heavy keychain in my pocket. I grabbed it tightly, and between curves, I slightly opened the car door, preparing for any attack. The werewolf leapt toward me, and the air around it vibrated with the force of the impact. My instinct made me recoil, and I felt the metal of the keychain hit the creature's arm. A deafening growl escaped from its throat, and I felt primitive rage pulsating in that colossal form. The car skidded, nearly overturning, and I had to grip the steering wheel with all my strength. The creature recoiled for a moment, but did not give up. Its eyes glowed with a hunger I had never seen in anything alive. Every step it took made the ground tremble, and I could hear its claws scratching the asphalt as it approached again. I knew I couldn't just keep driving. I needed an escape. I quickly scanned the road ahead and spotted an old abandoned barn by the roadside. It was my only chance. I risked a sharp turn, feeling the car nearly lose control, and drove toward the makeshift shelter. Every second felt like an eternity, and the creature's howl pursued me like a warning of imminent death. I reached the barn and slammed the door shut with all my strength. I breathed heavily, feeling my heart about to explode. But the terror didn't end. Behind the door, the werewolf's heavy blows reverberated, as if it wanted to tear me out at any cost. I was cornered, alone, without real weapons, only a keychain and my desperate hope. Hours passed. Every movement outside made me shiver. Every creak of the barn seemed to foretell the end. I began to hear heavy breathing, footsteps circling, growls cutting through the wood. I knew that if the creature found a gap, my life would end right there on that deserted road. Then something changed. The first light of dawn appeared through the trees, illuminating the road with a weak, golden glow. The werewolf recoiled, hesitated. The horror that had seemed invincible now became vulnerable to the sunlight. Exhausted and terrified, I watched the creature slowly disappear into the darkness of the forest, leaving only silence and my racing heart. I was still alive, but the deserted road, the howl, the overwhelming power of that creature, all of it was etched in me forever. That day, I learned that the night hides secrets no human should witness, and ever since, every time I work as a valet at night, every time I see a deserted road, my body reacts before my mind does, reminding me that there is something out there that should never be provoked. And I know, even today, that the werewolf still lurks, waiting for another unsuspecting traveler to show that the deserted road is never truly empty.